I don't know about you, but smart rings really intrigue me. They basically promise to be the fitness part of your smartwatch, shrunk down and stuck onto your finger, but without any real proof that it's actually doing what it says it does. This is the RingConn Gen Air 2, and today we're going to see if this $200 smart ring is worth even that much, or if it's just another discreet way to waste your money on health tracking. Like all smart rings, the first thing you want to do is order one of these sizing kits because the size of these things does not match up to a regular ring. Okay, let's start with design and comfort because that's honestly the first thing you're going to notice when you open the box. The Gen Air 2 is impressively slim and lightweight. Actually, it's among the thinnest and lightest available on the market. But as soon as you pick it up, you'll notice it's not really just like a regular ring. It's not even shaped like a regular ring. Unlike your wedding band, for instance, it's not a perfect circle. The underside has a flat edge where the sensors live. In theory, this keeps the ring oriented correctly on your finger, and it even has a mark that you're supposed to keep at the bottom side. But in practice, it feels odd. If you're like me and tend to fiddle with your rings, you'll feel that flat spot every time you grab onto it. And the inside has these two pronounced bumps where the optical sensors press into your skin. They're not sharp, but you notice them. And even after months, I'm still catching myself adjusting and playing with it and never quite getting used to the feeling like you do with a smooth ring. I went with the Dune Gold finish, and while it looked nice and subtle out of the box, it's scratched and picked up some dings almost immediately. After a few months of normal daily wear, it kind of looks a little bit beat up, but actually, in all truth, it's doing better than my Ultrahuman Gen Air 2, which looks really beat up. I'd say its finish could be better, but it's not bad. Of course, you don't really buy a smart ring just to look at it, so let's talk about the tracking itself, because that's where the Gen Air 2 kind of loses its shine. On paper, you're getting continuous heart rate monitor, automatic activity detection, stress tracking, sleep analysis, basically all that same stuff a smartwatch promises in a smaller, more comfortable in theory package. In reality, heart rate tracking is actually bad. If you're sitting at a desk or walking around their house, it's usually in the ballpark, but as soon as you start any kind of real exercising, rock climbing and running on a treadmill in my case, readings really don't keep up. In fact, I've gone rock climbing and I've gone jogging on the treadmill for 45 minutes and I've done VR Supernatural with this ring on, and it's basically said I never started exercising. I never got my heart really beating. At best, it thought I was doing an easy jog. It's not good. And it's way off compared to what my Ultrahuman ring says, what my Apple Watch says, even what my chest monitor says. And that's before we even get into the app, which has its own problems. But we'll get to that in just a moment. Sleep tracking is honestly the one area where the RingConn ring's hardware holds up fairly well. It reliably detects when you fall asleep and when you wake up. And that's good because that's something you'll actually do with a smart ring. I never use my watch to track my sleeping because it's just not comfortable enough, and the dedicated sleep trackers out there that go under your pillow seem silly, but wearing a ring to sleep, that's not so bad, and it's good that the hardware itself actually detects properly when you fall asleep and when you wake up. The problem is, the app is kind of terrible. If you saw my Ultrahuman Ring Air review, you'll remember that I said that it was too noisy. The app was constantly pinging you every few seconds, it feels like, with some new tidbit of information you probably didn't need. If Ultrahuman's on the far too much and noisy end of the spectrum, RingConn is the extreme opposite of not noisy enough. I can go a week without getting a single notification to remind me to open the app and see what's going on. And so even though I'm wearing the ring all the time, I forget to do anything with the app. And that's, well, it's kind of useless, right? The whole point of tracking your fitness, after all, is to track your fitness. And if you forget to do that on a constant basis, then how do you know if you've taken enough steps, if you've lifted enough weights, if you've exercised enough today? You don't. And that's not really the only problem with the app. When you do remember to go into it, it's not really super great. I mean, don't get me wrong. Some of the interface looks nice. I kind of like the flower bloom effect you get that looks at the different areas of your life, like your activity level and your sleep level and so forth. The more you fill it up, the more it looks like a flower. The more you've had the flower, the better your overall life is supposed to be. It's nice and easy to understand. I like that part of it. The rest of it kind of falls down. And of course, it has to have AI because everything must have AI. Unfortunately, like most AI, it's tacked on and useless and not that helpful. I mean, it says things like, you didn't get any sleep last night. You're probably going to be tired today. Great, thanks. I couldn't figure that out on my own. Or it'll say things like, you're really stressed right now. You should probably try to relax, which if you're aware you're really stressed right now, you know you probably should relax, but you probably can't because you're in the middle of a stressful situation. And need I remind you, the notifications never happened, so that bit of advice isn't useful. You probably didn't see it until it was far too late. And all throughout the app, there are these weird inconsistencies in the words. I don't want to say they're grammatically incorrect. There used to be some severe grammar issues, and most of those have been corrected, but everything about it kind of doesn't ever read quite right. It's just kind of general wording that no English speaker would ever really use. Things like, you are really a doer. Today's activity steps have reached the target. And that's all grammatically correct. It just doesn't sound right. It's annoying, not a deal breaker, just annoying. And then there's other parts of the apps where it doesn't seem to always agree with how it should be wording things. There's a plan section that's supposed to keep you on track for your steps or so forth based on your previous performance. So today it might say, I didn't get enough sleep tonight. I should get a nap in later today. I didn't walk enough yesterday, so I should get some extra steps in today. All from weird first person where it sounds like the app is you. Other days, though, it will be the more natural third person. You got plenty of sleep last night. Good job. You got more steps in than usual. Feel free to take a break today so you don't overdo it. None of that is technically a deal breaker, but it's kind of a big deal because at the end of the day, the app is really important. The Ring, after all, doesn't have a direct interface. That's the whole point. It's supposed to be nice and light, fit on your finger, you forget about it. Without the app, it's worthless though. And when an app is not good enough, that is a major problem for this entire process. There are some good things to say about this though. I mean, it is light, it is comfortable, and the price is kind of right for a smart ring. The RingConn Gen Air 2 is only $200, and even better, there is no subscription. That's right, no subscription. Do you know how many smart rings have one? It's really kind of annoying. You buy a ring and then you have to pay to use the ring. It's kind of ridiculous. And battery life, for that matter, is really, really good on this. I'm shocked how long this tiny little thing will last, even when I'm wearing it 24/7 and doing things like tracking my sleep. I easily get a week to a week and a half on a single charge, and it's back up to 100% in a pretty small amount of time. You could probably take a shower and be most of the way there if you charge it during the shower. That's really fantastic. But again, what is the point of this ring? The point of this ring is to, in theory, track your sleeping, track your healthiness, fitness, exercise, and so forth, and to kind of keep you on track with a better lifestyle, a healthier lifestyle. What does it matter if it's affordable if it's really bad at its job? And let's be honest, this is kind of really bad at its job, because if you don't develop the habit of checking the app all the time, then you're getting nothing at all out of it. And even if you do, it's really bad at detecting your heart rate, which is the whole point of the thing. I often will say that if a product costs like 75% of the premium version and gives you 80% of what that premium version provides, then it's a good deal. And this costs a lot less, it's true, but it doesn't give you that 80% of what you want. It's not good at the things it needs to be good at, except for maybe sleep tracking. Hey, if you stuck around with this review for this long, you must have seen something you like. Maybe you appreciate the fact that these are honest reviews, and sometimes I honestly do say, don't buy a product that's not good enough. If that's you, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and until next time,